What's up, metalheads? It's Death Metal Dave in your face here on MetalMessiahRadio.com. And I have another special guest, Steve Reynolds of Demolition Hammer, with me now. What's up, Steve?
What's up, Dave? How we doing down there, man?
Fucking great, man. It's like starting to get warm. It's in the 80s here, so.
Wow. That's too much for me, man. I'm used to the cold weather. I like the cold weather.
Yeah, I mean, I would like it a little bit cooler. Like, I'm going to miss the fucking 70s and 60s, but a lot of people are ready for it. A lot of people move here for that, 80s and 90s.
For sure, man. Lots of people from New York want to get down there, man, because they hate the winters up here. But I don't know. I've been here my whole life, and I work outside, so I'm kind of used to it, and I dig it. So it's all good, man.
So, yeah, and if anybody that doesn't know of Demolition Hammer, you're from New York, and you can tell by the accent, which...
Hey. Like I said, Dave, everybody else got an accent, not me.
Right on. Hell yeah, man. Well, let's get right to it. So, first of all, one of the reasons why we're doing this interview is I thought it would be killer to do a couple interviews up till Hell's Heroes Fest, which I'm going to attend and see you guys once again, and I'm fucking stoked for that shit. So.
Yeah, man, I've heard lots of good things, man, about this festival. You know, the bands that have played it that I've been in contact with said that, you know, it's a good festival, good turnout, good people. They run it well, so we're psyched for it.
Yeah, I heard it's really well ran. A couple of friends of mine have gone in last couple of years, and they said it's a really well put together festival for the U.S. for sure. So hell yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And
yeah, that's the key. That's the key word, the U.S. Because you know, a lot of times you play shows in the U.S. and you know they don't really, you know, I mean the fans are always good, but a lot of times the people that run it don't give a shit, you know.
Yeah, I get you.
Know, in Europe, you know, they always treat you really well. They're way into it. As far I'm talking again, like the fans are always cool, but you know, sometimes you get some promoters that really don't do right by the band. So I'm hearing really good things about Hell's Heroes and Christian Larson, the guy, you know, spearheaded it. He, you know, I think it's partly because he's in the business. He plays in bands, you know, so he's kind of, you know, he knows what the bands are up against, and I think he does the right thing because of that.
Hell yeah, man. And I think I'm going to interview him or one of the guys for this upcoming fest before the fest comes, actually, because we got a couple of weeks, and I'm so excited, man. I played this last week. I played all the bands that are on the festival, and I learned a lot. There's bands I've never heard of, but I am excited to see them now.
Yeah, it's a really diverse, you know, bill. There's lots of different kinds of bands, and you know, I think that also is a part of the reason why, like, you know, Christian is the one who's putting this stuff together, and he put something that's real diverse together. There's something for everybody, which is cool. So I'm psyched for it too. Oh
yeah, man! It was like blows my mind the eclectic lineup, if you will. But
absolutely.
So yeah, the last time I saw you was in Carolina Chainsaw Massacre Fest, which is another killer fest that is not going to happen in the next year, anyways, according to John McEntee.
Yeah, I mean, we had a good time. That was the first, you know, incarnation of that, and you know, also again, John being a guy that you know plays an incantation, is in the band. You know, he made sure everything was, you know, good for us bands, and we had a good time. It was a great turnout. But you know, like I said, it's hard to put these things on, and you know, I think John is just kind of gearing up till he get his resources back together and do it again.
Yeah, because it ain't cheap, that's for sure, one thing. And there's a lot of logistics involved.
Absolutely.
Even with a smaller fest, if you're going to do it correctly. And I had a chance to be a part of one with the Tardy Brothers, the Florida Metal Fest. And, man, the stuff that goes into that, I learned a lot, you know. It was fun, too. And hopefully one of these days we'll be doing it again, you know. But I think they're so booked. Obituary is so booked right now. I don't know if there's going to be one in the next couple of years anyways.
Yeah, I mean, listen, those guys got their hands full. They're in demand. They're a great band. And, you know, so, yeah, I mean, their priority is the band. So I completely understand that.
Right. So, if you don't mind, I'd like to go into some history of Demolition Hammer and yourself as well. And I'd like to start with, okay, you're from what, like the Bronx, New York, or what area?
Right. We're from the Bronx area. Some at this point in our lives, some of us are, a little bit outside the area. Our drummer, our current drummer, is from Brooklyn. We're all still right around here. It's, we from the Bronx, the Angels from Brooklyn. We rehearse in Queens. So, yeah, we're like definitely New York City centric.
Hell yeah. And so way back in the 80s, I guess, you're about my age, I'm sure. And what did you first get into in music and metal, if you will, that wanted you to become a musician and start a band?
Well, like I said, yeah, I've listened to music back in, all the way into like from the early 70s. So, the things that I liked was, like stuff like Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple and Black Sabbath and all that stuff is kind of where, I first started getting into music, even like older bands and like that, like, bands like Cream and stuff.
Right.
So, then, there's a time where you go through, naturally just, hungry for more music, looking for all kinds of other stuff. So, everything in between too, so, from there, it just, Black Sabbath was one of the, the ones that I really gravitated to. So again, it was like a natural progression going from that point when the heavier bands, like the bands like, Metallica and Slayer and Venom and those bands started to come on the scene. Then that was a natural progression. But even before that, you had the Iron Maidens and, the Priest and all that stuff. So, it just runs the gamut, so I still love all of that stuff. But it's just always looking for something heavy, fast. And, from that point, like I said, at that point in my life, it was when I was just starting able to like, think about playing in a band. But I was in a band with James, our guitar player, hooked up with him, was the first person I hooked up with. And, we played in, cover bands and, we were playing, like you said, like Priest and Dio and Sabbath and stuff like that. And then as things like Metallica started to come out, we wanted to gravitate towards that. So that's it was a natural progression for us. And then started playing, trying to write our own material, for the first Demolition Hammer stuff and putting out a demo and stuff, it went from there. So,
right.
Just like everybody else who's into metal, it's, we like all the old stuff and then everything, from that point forward as well.
New York had to be a plethora of fucking music and metal at that time, man. I can only imagine growing up in the New York area. I grew up in Alabama. There was just the local scene, but in New York, I can only imagine the fucking shows that would come through there. Fuck yeah.
Well, I mean, like I said, being you're in a major market like New York, so like all like the national acts would come through. When I was a kid, I would go to like so many concerts and stuff like that. But even like the club scene, I remember seeing like bands like Twisted Sister and which were at that time were like they weren't even big at that time. They were playing like the local clubs around here and everything. And whether I was going to a concert at like Madison Square Garden or something like that, or I was going to Lemoore or, something called the Rising Sun, which was close by to, where we live. Anything I could get my hands on, I was just, at that time it was just 24/7, music.
You were hooked. Like I was.
No, totally, man.
Dude.
Totally. It was, that was your life when at that age, you didn't care about your job. You didn't have any responsibilities. Music was it. That was it,
Yeah. And, I was when the shit was exploding in the 80s, I was freaking buying vinyl as much as I could that I could afford anyways. And
absolutely.
And that was my pleasure. I still have a large collection now and of vinyl. I love it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I remember there was I was lucky too. There was a store in Yonkers called Mad Platters, which was, they had all the import stuff. And, I remember going there and seeing, I was buying my Iron Maiden albums there, and I remember seeing like the cover of the Motorhead album. Like, what the hell is this? This looks so cool. What is this? I had to buy that, and that was awesome. And just there were so many things. Like buying Saxon albums and Tigers of Pantang albums. I was so into the vinyl too, and I had I have a huge collection as well. So. Yeah, I mean, that's like being like a kid in a candy store back then. I mean, it was a good time to be a metalhead,
Yeah, so were you into the tape trading also?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, I mean, that was just something that happened organically because, we're trying to get the Demolition Hammer name out there, and then we realized that, how do you do that? And, you're buying magazines like Metal Forces and, stuff like that, and they would have like a demo section, like, wow, this is how maybe we can get our name out there, get people to hear of us. So, by us doing that, then it's like, okay, I want to hear what the other bands are doing as well too. So I was, doing tape trading, like, just as much as I was trying to put my band out there,
Yeah. And that would start with Skull Fracturing Nightmare.
Exactly.
That's fucking sick, man. Oh man, that's killer. And then, so you kept, I guess you were playing out, after you released the demo to promote it, and you're doing all the tape trading, but you're probably playing out around New York.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, we had the first demo out. It was only, James and myself, and we had a drummer named John who, he didn't want to move forward with what we were doing. So at that point, we recruited Vinny, got him on board, and then Derek as well on, for second guitar, not second, but, additional guitar.
Right.
And then we started playing out a lot. We were playing anything, anybody would have us, it wasn't easy back then, but, we played CBGBs, a couple times. We played, there was some places out in Jersey and, up in the Bronx. We were playing, we played Lehman High School in the Bronx. It was
nice.
Crazy. We were having a great time, and trying to build a following that way. And, people were starting to, to know our name. So it was a nice progression.
I like hearing when fucking heavy ass bands play their high school. I know a band from around here that did that. They became obituary.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, because there wasn't a lot of people that, it wasn't like, there's a lot of places that are going to tolerate the kind of stuff that we were doing. So,
right.
We actually had, we played the high school in the Bronx, not far from where Vinny lived, and we had a really good turnout, and, actually, it was kind of sick, man. We had, there was an ambulance there. A couple of people kind of got messed up in the pit, and some kid broke his arm. I mean, not that I enjoyed that the kid, broke his arm, but it was mayhem. It was, it was great. Brutal. We had a great time. Yeah, totally.
But so then you got a solid lineup, and you did the Necrology demo in '89, and that so that lineup would last years, right?
Yeah, I mean, that was the classic lineup, and from there we, with Derek on board, he really added another dimension that we were lacking. To have the dual guitars, and he was a great writer and a player, and we started writing stuff that as the four of us together, Vinny as well was he was another level up from what we were, doing before. So that's where it culminated in the Necrology demo. And we got started to get some interest with some labels from that. And basically, Roadrunner and Century Media at the time was still a European label. They didn't even have any, American bands signed over here. So, we were happy that we were getting some, interest for some decent labels. But in the end, we decided to go with Century Media. It was kind of like taking a chance, just because, like I said, they didn't even have any distribution over here in America. But they promised us some good stuff, and they came through. They did get the distribution, and we decided to take a chance with them. So I think it was us and Iced Earth, which I'm sure you're familiar with. Oh
yeah.
We were the two first American bands that were on their label. So I'm kind of proud of that. It was cool, and Century Media has been a staple in the business for a long time since.
Right. And so you signed it. So you had your solid lineup. You got signed with Century Media, and they must have had good distribution. They did have good distribution because I was enlightened to it, and
yeah, I mean,
but also I had met you when you were recording here in Tampa.
Right. I remember that. I remember we were down there, and like I said, we came down to record at Morris Sound with Scott Burns, and actually, like I said, one of the first people we met down here was Trevor from Obituary. He was nice enough to come down and hang out with us and show us around and party with us and stuff. Also, John from Iced Earth as well. And we actually, Donald from Obituary was actually nice enough to lend us his drum kit to do our record with, at Morris Sound. So yeah, I mean, it was a good experience all around. I mean, there's a thriving scene down there, and everybody welcomed us. So it was a good time, man.
I have part of that here at my house. That drum cymbals.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, man. It was a long time ago, man.
Yeah, he. I don't really want to get into the story on air, but I'll tell you later. It's not a bad story. It's a fucking awesome story, but I'd rather not blurt it on air. But yeah, so yeah, let's just say that some of them are on loan.
Oh wow. Okay.
So,
right.
But Donald's such a great friend, and that's how he is. He's so awesome, man, and he's the machine driving that Obituary train right now. So, but
oh yeah, man. Listen, all the guys in Obituary are awesome guys. They've been continue to be friends over the years, and like I said, we did our first tour that we did right after that record was recorded. It wasn't even released yet in Europe. But we did a tour with Obituary in Morgoth, fall of 1990. So, yeah, those guys are awesome, man.
Was that Europe or was that here?
Yeah, no, that was Europe. That was Europe. That was the first thing we did over there. Yeah, so it was great. I mean, to be on the tour on every night on the they were promoting the Cause of Death record was amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Hell yeah. And I've heard, back then I heard a lot of crazy stories. Everybody was kids then. So basically,
Absolutely. Oh, for sure, man. I mean, like I said, it was a long time ago. Everybody, we were young guys, man. And it was a great time though, man. Like I said, it was a privilege, to be a part of that. It was really awesome.
So, who did, the artwork on this, Tortured Existence album? That wasn't Vinny, because Vinny was an artist, wasn't he? He was a tattoo artist.
Yeah, he was a tattoo artist. Yeah, that was the only we had a little disappointment with that because Century Media had a guy that was putting out some stuff from his putting out some artwork for the records they had, and we've seen some of it before, and it was like, yeah, it's pretty cool, but we weren't really happy with the way that came out. To be honest with you, but it is what it is. Some people seem to like it, so it's all good, man. So he was like a house guy that was doing art for Century Media at that time.
Yeah, it's like a melting face or something, or a burning body or something. Yeah.
Right, it's like a melting face guy.
So I also heard that Vinny gave everybody tattoos on the road.
Yeah, Vinny used to bring his stuff and tattoo people on the road. That was a cool thing. We had some good times because he would, there'd always be somebody on the bus and we'd be partying, and meanwhile Vinny would just be inking them up.
Right, right.
And it was good because sometimes you're broke on the road, so a couple bucks is helping you out. You know what I mean?
Right. Hell yeah, exactly. And I'm sure it was, especially back then too. Jeez.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
But I'm sure it was a great experience. So
we did a tour with Devastation and Malevolent Creation in the States, and we were the opening act, and you didn't get paid. You barely got paid anything. We didn't have enough money even really to keep like gas in the van. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
It was hard, man. But I mean, we loved it. This is an experience you'll never forget, and. We were road dogs, and it's like you're like wearing a badge of honor. So we were happy to do it.
Hell yeah! And Malevolent Creation, another fucking great band. Oh my god,
awesome band for sure.
And dudes,
Devastation
too.
As well.
Rest in peace, Brett.
Yeah, man, I know.
He was such an awesome dude. So yeah, you went on tour and supported it, and then shit, did you travel for a year, touring or?
Yeah, we did. Like I said, we did the Obituary Morgoth tour in Europe. Then before we even went on the tour that I just mentioned with Devastation and Malevolent, we went back to Europe and did I think it was about 3 weeks opening up for Dark Angel. There was another band on the tour that dropped off, so Century Media was able to to get us on there. And like I said, they did the right thing for us as far as we asked them and we said, the most important thing for us is we want to get out and be seen and we want to play, and they were able to make it happen. So we got about 3 weeks in on that tour in April of '91, and then by the summer of '91 is when we started on the tour with Devastation and Malevolent Creation, and that was like 3 months. So we were out on the road for like 90 days. So That was a good one. Yeah, those
old school fucking tours in metal were long. From what I
yeah, man. Like I said, that was like 90 days, man. We were out there for 3 months. We were out there for June, July, and August.
That's crazy. Now it's like 30 days or something.
Yeah, tops, exactly.
Yeah.
But, honestly, we were crisscrossing all over. I mean, it wasn't like it was logistically correct, but, hey, we just wanted to stay out, and it is what it is, and we got to play, so that's all that mattered.
So, were you writing when you were on the road at all, or did you just wait till you got home and then chilled for a little bit and then started writing and all that?
Yeah.
For the next album?
We did it like that. We just would, once we were done, we came back and started writing, for the next record. That turned into the Epidemic of Violence record. I mean, we did that up in Rhode Island with Tom Soares. He was a guy that was doing he did work with Leeway and some of the New York bands like Sick of It All and Cro-Mags and stuff like that.
Cool.
We went up there to do that, and that was a good experience.
So he was more of a hardcore-ish?
Yeah, he was more of
producer or whatever, engineer.
He did lots of varied stuff, but yeah, I mean that's where we kind of got turned on to him from, because all of the New York bands, the hardcore bands, were using them, so we figured, hey, we could make this work too,
Well, what I realized back then is there was more of a bleeding from hardcore into death metal and death metal into hardcore, like all the bands and fans kind of got along, sort of, and like the same music, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, that's the thing too, is like we were at, kind of like, if you want to put labels on it, which I don't like to do, but, we were kind of more in the thrash metal kind of vein.
Yeah,
and meanwhile, we're playing on tours with death metal bands and stuff like that. So, and then here in New York, when we were playing locally, we'd be on sometimes with some hardcore bands. So yeah, it was all good at that point. At that point, it wasn't like, skins against the long hairs or anything. It wasn't like that anymore. So it was all cool, which is the way it should be.
Exactly. There's kind of a little division now in the younger kids for the metalcore and the heavier shit. I don't know. But whatever. It's all metal to me, man.
Exactly. Like I said, I like all the old stuff. I like, coming through the stuff that I grew up with, and I like lots of the new stuff that's out there now as well. So there's room for everybody, man. It's music.
So, Steve, how'd you come up with the album cover for Epidemic of Violence?
That was something that also, like I said, we weren't.
Can you explain it?
We weren't so happy with, what was happening on our first record. So we said, okay, we want to be in charge of this. And we had seen, the Obituary album cover, which was like awesome artwork. So we said, let's, see if we can get in touch with that artist, which was Michael Whalen. And he said, well, I have this available if you're interested in it. And I think it was like he had a gigantic, like what they call a triptych, which was like 3 different pieces of artwork.
Oh, okay.
And we took a portion of it. He's like, we kind of just scaled it down and streamlined it to the thing with the walkway with the skulls on the post and the stairwell and the brick wall and stuff. So we kind of just took a section of that, and we were really happy with that. We thought it was it was nasty, brutal, evil looking, and it was well done. So we were very happy with that compared to what we had on our first record.
So what does it represent with the brick wall, and then farther on as the staircase to a burning castle or building or something?
Yeah, it's I think if you look closely, there's like a guy up there. It looks like it's kind of like he's doing some kind of a sacrifice. We just kind of, it wasn't like
okay.
It doesn't look like it's it's not something that was made specifically for us. So, but we just thought it tied in well with the theme of epidemic of violence, where you see like a walkway with skulls that has X's on their head with in blood. So it just seemed like it fit the bill for what we were the kind of the kind of theme we were trying to portray.
Yeah, like X, like a target or something.
Yeah, X, like okay, yeah, you're just another another senseless act of violence.
Oh, gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
So I think it worked pretty cool.
Hell yeah. So I guess you toured through the world again on that record.
Yeah, we did a tour in Europe with Massacre and Grave, which was another killer bill to be on. Yeah. So that was awesome, So then that was when Terry from Obituary who's in Obituary now, was in Massacre.
Yes.
So, like I said, you meet all these people from ages ago, and they're still around the scene today. All these people, it all comes full circle, So
yeah, I just seen his band, his latest band, In Human Condition.
Right. Yeah. So, like I said, that was Massacre and Grave in Europe, and then we did a tour in the States with Deicide and Cancer.
Sick. Oh man, you're naming some fucking classic shit, man. That's killer.
Yeah, the thing is, like I said again, we're the thrash metal scene was kind of was a little bit before like we kind of got into it. So we were we were playing with a lot of death metal bands, which was cool, and definitely, listen, you're influenced by what what you're exposed to. So I think it kind of pushed us in a more, like I said, like a more, I don't want to put labels on it, but it definitely pushed us into a heavier, more aggressive kind of, sound, So I think it worked out for the best.
Hell yeah. So then I guess you had a little lineup change for the next album, Time Bomb.
Yeah, I mean, there's the story behind that is basically, James was taking a hiatus from the band. He was starting a family, and so Derek and I and Vinny said, hey, we still want to try to put something out. And at the time, we said, everybody's life was kind of, going in a different direction. People starting families, people, had jobs and stuff like that. So at that point, Vinny, Derek and I said, we'll try to put something out, but we don't know if we can, stay on the road again for 6 months out of the year. And Vinny was like, he didn't want to do that. He's like, listen, if I'm going to put something out, I want to get out on, be out on the road too, be, in the band full time. So he decided to drop out of that situation. So again, Derek and I wanted to do something. So we knew Alex from Malevolent Creation, Solstice, and we asked him if he wanted to try to write some stuff with us. And, he agreed, and, we did some stuff back and forth. He was down in Florida. We brought him up a couple times and got together to write some stuff. And as it progressed, we realized this is not like a Demolition Hammer sound that we were trying to, it wasn't coming out that way. So we said, all right, you know what? This is not going to be a Demolition Hammer record. Vinny's not here. James is not here. And, it's just not the same without them. So we still wanted to put something out, and we decided to put it out as a side project. But unfortunately, when it came down to it, Century Media kind of forced our hands and said, hey, we're not going to put it out unless you put the Demolition Hammer name on it. And, that's something that in hindsight, I wish we had just said, hey, you know what, then let's not put it out. But when you work hard on something and, you know, you don't want to show it to people. You want people, to hear it. So, unfortunately, it was released as a Demolition Hammer record, but it really is not one. It's a side project that, you know, Derek and Alex and I put together. So that's why some people, I think, are confused by it and disappointed in it, you know. But as a standalone record, I think it's pretty heavy. It's got some cool stuff on it. So, you know, I just want people to realize that it was not ever intended to be a Demolition Hammer record. So, you know, it can just kind of, if you want to reconsider it as something that's a side project, then I think on, you know, from that aspect, it stands alone as something that's, you know, we're proud of it, you know?
Yeah. So was that originally were you going to try to release it as an Overlord?
We had Overlord was a band that, when I remember I told you at the beginning when we started it, James and I, we played in cover bands together and, before Demolition Hammer, and one of the band's name was Overlord. So that's where you probably heard that name from. But we were gonna call the band. We would toss the names around. Derek and I were thinking of calling it Deadbolt, actually.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So, but like again, Century Media kind of stepped in and said, "Hey, man, you know, we're not going to release it unless you put Demolition Hammer name on it." But like I said, unfortunately, it didn't work out for in our best interest because of that.
How did this album cover come about?
We just didn't, you know, again, because it was not supposed to be a Demolition Hammer record. You can even see we don't even have the Demolition Hammer logo on there. We just have it in, you know, block letters. So we just decided let's just put something up there that's nondescript, and it's just like it's like a, you know, the name of the album is Time Bomb. So what that artwork is, it's really representative of like a time, you know, it's like, how can I describe it? It's like a time mechanism that's, you know, ticking down for a bomb to go off.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Is that like the inside or something?
Exactly.
Gotcha.
I mean,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Like the guts of a watch or a clock or something.
Exactly. It's like, it's exactly that. It's the mechanical, you know, guts of a time, you know, a time bomb.
Okay.
Timer, you know?
Oh, right on. Okay. Killer. And, so you decided to call it quits because you started a family and jobs and everything after that?
Like I said, to be honest with you, like I said, you know, it wasn't easy, especially for a band like us. You know, we weren't a death metal band. Thrash metal is kind of, you know, wasn't really doing as well as it had. And, you know, people were starting families, and, you know, every time you come home, when you're playing a band like, you know, like ours, you know, every time you come home, it's like, okay, I got to find a new job. And, you know, it's hard being broke all the time. So, especially when you live in New York, man, it's not cheap to live up here, you know? So, we decided to, like, you know, let's, you know, see if we can concentrate on our families and our jobs and stuff like that. And that's kind of where it, you know, we left it at that point.
Gotcha. So how did you come back together? What was it, 2015 or 16 or something like that? You got back together?
Yeah. See, what happened with that is, you know, we were all kind of, you know, we were still in touch with each other. But, you know,
except for Vinny, of course, rest in peace.
Except for Vinny. Yeah. Vinny was gone, man. Unfortunately. He died at a very young age, but, yeah. So, you know, the three of us were still in touch. And, you know, Derek, listen, you know, I have nothing to do with, like, you know, Facebook and internet and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But Derek, you know, he's told me, he's like, hey, man, you know, there's a lot of people out there that are kind of interested in, you know, in our band. And I'm like, man, no one cares about Demolition Hammer, you know? And he's like, no, really, for sure, you know? So he kind of, you know, opened my eyes to the fact that, you know, with the internet, people could, you know, finding out about our band, people that weren't even born at the time that our records came out, of, you know, had kind of, you know, there was some interest in our band again. And, you know, it was real. I really just couldn't believe it. And so we decided, we talked over with James and, you know, Derek and myself, and decided, hey, you know, let's see if we can, you know, make this happen, you know, give it a shot. And, you know, we all got back together and started, you know, relearning our songs and everything. And, like I said, we didn't really know if we could find somebody. You know, Vinny was going to be hard to replace, but you know, there's lots of people out there too that, you know, since that time are like awesome drummers. You know, I mean,
yeah.
So we put it out. I had a friend of mine who plays in a band called Malignancy. They're a New York band up here, technical death metal band. So Danny Nelson, the singer from this friend of mine, I said, hey man, you know, who can I get to, you know, see if we can, you know, play some drums with us? And he said, I got the guy for you. So he put us in touch with Angel Cote, our drummer right now. And we rehearsed with him once, and it was like, this guy knew everything. He's like, yeah, he goes, I was a big fan of your guys. So he knew the material and was able to duplicate it pretty perfectly. So we were pleasantly surprised at how, you know, he fit right in, like right away. He was the first person that we you know, we got together playing drums, and he fit right in. So that was easy for us.
Fucking Angel's awesome, man. I've known him for a little while now. He also played in a band out of Tampa for a little bit by the name of Swats.
Angel's played in lots of bands, man.
He has.
He's an animal, man. You know, I mean, even when we first started, you know, Demolition Hammer back up, he was playing in another original band that was, you know, in his area. He was playing in Slayer cover bands. He played in so many bands. He played in, you know, he's like, he's filled in for people, and, you know, drummers got, you know, sick or couldn't make it and stuff like that. He played, you know, he's played in so many bands. So he's an animal. He's great, man.
I think even Fear Factory at one point too, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure Fear Factory. What was the, he's played with Malignancy a bunch of times, filling in. He's played in, some band, what's it called? Something Gun. I can't remember the name. But he's been all over the place. That guy. He's crazy.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I ran into him at the Carolina Chainsaw Massacre Fest the day before at the other show, the Friday show. And
right, yeah.
We sent pictures back to Tampa to a couple people, and they were like, "What the hell are you at? Where's he at? Is he in Tampa?" No. But no, yeah, he's an awesome dude, and he's got him a little family and a kick-ass job. I mean,
yeah, he's like I said, he started a family as well, so that's why it's kind of tight. That's why we kind of only do like a limited amount of shows. It's kind of hard for everybody to get on the same page schedule-wise and everything else, and all our, you know, your commitments and things like that. So, but yeah, we're happy to have Angel. He's awesome, man. He fits right in with us.
So, are y'all planning on writing anything new or anything, or you're just gonna play festivals occasionally?
Well, I mean, like I said, we try to write some stuff here and there, but it is very limited. We're hoping that maybe, you know, in the future we can get enough together to maybe get something out. But at the moment, like I said, yeah, we're just concentrated on playing some festivals and a couple one-off shows here and there. You know, once in a while we're able to. We out last year. We went out to L.A. and played a couple shows. You know, that like they were our shows. You know, it wasn't a festival, and we had some good turnouts there. So that's what we kind of concentrate on doing. But yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll get some. You know, like I said, we can get some time together and maybe get enough material to put something new out.
Fuck yeah, man. Yeah, I get to see you in 2 weeks. So what the hell? I can't wait. Nice, I'm excited.
Yeah.
We'll have to.
Yeah, I'm psyched for that festival, man. It should be awesome.
We'll have to have a couple beers.
Absolutely, Dave.
So what, if you don't mind me asking, so what do you do for a living nowadays in New York?
Yeah, man, I've been doing the same thing. I've been, you know, from way back when, man. I run a window cleaning business.
Oh, okay.
So, like I said, I'm outside all the time. I'm kind of used to the weather. So, you know, it's just, it's something I've been doing for a long time, and, you know, I'm cool. I'm never going to be a millionaire, but it pays the bills. That's all that counts.
Are you on the ground, or do you ever go up in the high-rise shit?
No, you know, before I started doing window cleaning, I used to be a construction worker, and I used to actually build high-rises.
Oh, shit. That's got to be scary.
So, yeah, it was kind of nuts. But since I made it out of that alive with the window cleaning business, I kind of just stay on the ground.
I got you.
Know?
I got you.
You know? Yeah, it's easier. Yeah.
So what do you do other than Demolition Hammer on your spare time? Is there any kind of shit you like doing as your hobby or anything?
Well, I used to be into photography a little bit and travel a lot, but like I said, at this point in time, I'm just kind of scaling back. I kind of concentrate on doing the rehearsals with the band when we need to do it, and just concentrating on my business and stuff like that.
Yeah, right on. You got grandkids or kids?
No, I mean, like I said, I never had any kids, but like I said, I had a lot of family responsibilities over the past
gotcha.
bunch of years and stuff. So it keeps you busy, man.
Hell yeah, the reason I brought that up is because I'm a grandfather.
Okay.
And a couple people call me death metal grandpa.
See, all the other guys in the band have kids and they got their hands full, man. I hear you, man. I get it.
I love it, man. I'll accept that. I accept the name. But
that's cool, man. Yeah, nothing to be ashamed of.
Hell yeah. So what? One last thing before I let you go. What do you? Maybe two last things. But what kind of music? What kind of bands are you listening to? What's in your playlist, if you will? That wasn't from back in the day, if you will, of newer stuff, maybe.
Like I said, I don't really, especially like with regards to Demolition Hammer. I mean, I don't really listen to all that much. Like of the newer bands. I do like bands. I do like Lamb of God. Actually, I think they're an awesome band. But like I said, I don't really spend all that much time listening to that much music anymore. It just seems like I'm still involved. I like a lot of hardcore bands too. I like that band Terror out of L.A.
Oh yeah.
But there are lots of cool bands out there. Because like I said, it's kind of my time is more focused on just trying to make a living. Actually, to be honest with you.
I got you. I'm going to be up in New York, I think in June, probably for a few days.
Oh, cool.
So
cool, man.
Maybe we can.
Yeah, man. Let me know.
I'm up there.
Yeah, definitely. Let me know, Dave, for sure.
Fuck yeah, man. And so, any other festivals or shows coming up other than Hell's Heroes in Houston, Texas?
Not at the moment. Right now, we don't have anything else booked. That's the only one. Again, like I said, people, are kind of busy with their own personal stuff. So, we have scaled it back a little bit, but and especially it's been hard after COVID. It's harder to get gigs and stuff like that. The budgets are tighter, and it's hard to actually make some of these shows happen. It really is. Yeah.
Like some of them are just resurfacing again.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely put a wrench in the works. So hopefully, it's going to be back on the upswing, and hopefully we can book some more shows soon.
Hell yeah, man! Is there anything else you'd like to add to the fans or anybody out there?
Yeah, just we want to thank people for, again, after all the time that we were away, that, we got people that are supporting Demolition Hammer, people that, weren't even around back in that day, because that was a long time ago. So we're very appreciative of all the people that, past, present, and future that support us, because without the fans, there's no Demolition Hammer. So we're very grateful to be, a part of the scene again. And, again, I'm not like a tech guy or anything, but, if it wasn't for the internet, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now, Dave. So we're very appreciative to be back in the fold.
Hell yeah, man. Fuck yeah, Steve. Thanks for joining me. And I want to thank Robin for hooking us up, too. Robin's awesome.
Good people.
Robin's one of my best friends in life. I met her in fucking like 89.
Dude, like I'm saying, I met her on the trip down there when we were in Morristown.
Yeah.
That's the same deal. I met her in 1990. Yep. So she's good people, man. She's a hard-working metalhead. She's awesome.
Yeah, she's busy as fuck, right? She's on tour with War right now as a merchant TM.
She's always on tour, man. She is awesome. She's great people, man. And she's always helped us out too whenever we had some questions or needed somebody to hook up with a merchandise, somebody to sell for us. She's awesome. She's great people.
She knows everyone. All right, Steve.
I saw her actually a couple months ago. She was her and her band were playing on the tour with Cattle Decapitation and Immolation.
Oh yeah, Castrator.
Yeah, exactly. So, I saw her up at that show. She's great people, man.
Fuck yeah, man. And they're a killer band too, Castrator.
Totally, man. Awesome. Definitely, man.
All right, Steve. Well, thank you for joining me, brother. I appreciate it. I'll look forward to having a couple beers with you in a couple of weeks and when I go up to New York later on this year. Hell yeah,
absolutely,
man.
Dave. Thanks for doing the interview with me, man. I appreciate it, man. And I'm looking forward to the festival, and we'll hang out, like you said, and we'll have a couple together, bro.
Hell yeah. I'll be seeing John Tardy tomorrow. I'll give him your regards.
Absolutely. John's awesome, man. Tell him we all said what's up.
All right. Right on, brother. I'll talk to you later,
all
man.
Right,
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
Later on, bro.
All right.
Thanks, Dave. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah, man.